Hi, friends. If you're here, you're already stepping towards a better version of yourself. This channel Path to Betterment, created by IIT Bombay alumni, is for those who want to excel in personal as well as professional life. Subscribe to our channel and turn every moment, whether you're traveling, relaxing, eating, or tackling everyday chores, into an opportunity for growth and inspiration. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is more than just a book. It's a life-changing journey through the human soul. In this profound work, Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, takes us into his experiences in Nazi concentration camps. But rather than only focusing on suffering, he explores something deeply inspiring: the search for purpose and the power of hope in the darkest times. Author believes that even in the most difficult moments, we can find meaning that gives us strength to keep going. And this search for meaning, he argues, is the key to living a fulfilled life. Why should you listen to this audiobook? Because it offers real, actionable insight into one of life's biggest questions. Why do we live, and how do we go on when things get hard? For anyone going through tough times, facing loss, feeling lost, or even just questioning what life is all about, this book is like a conversation with someone who truly understands. Author explains how we can grow from hardship, giving us tools to face challenges with courage. Through his stories and insights, he shows us that every moment has the potential for meaning, even when life feels overwhelming or painful. Listening to this audiobook can be helpful to anyone, whether you're young and figuring out who you are, a parent dealing with stress, or an older adult looking back on life. It's for people who seek resilience, who want to understand themselves better, and who are looking for purpose. As you listen, author's voice and message will remind you that we all have the power to choose our attitude, regardless of the circumstances. In a world that can sometimes seem chaotic, man's search for meaning is a guiding light. It shows us how to find meaning in our lives, and, perhaps most importantly, it shows us that we are never truly powerless. Part 1 of Man's Search for Meaning, titled Experiences in a Concentration Camp, presents author's personal account of his time in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Author not only recounts the horror and suffering he endured, but also delves into how people can find meaning even in the darkest of circumstances. His experiences offer profound insights into the nature of human resilience, survival, and purpose. Author begins by describing the initial shock prisoners felt upon entering the camps. They faced fear and uncertainty, especially during the selection process at Auschwitz, where prisoners were divided into groups. One group, which included the weak or sick, was sent to the gas chambers, though they didn't know it at the time. Author's group, chosen for forced labor, faced brutal conditions, with every day a fight for survival. As prisoners adapted to camp life, they often experienced what author calls emotional death. In response to the overwhelming brutality, many became numb and developed an emotional apathy as a defense mechanism. This apathy allowed them to endure the constant suffering around them. But author noticed that those who held on to memories of loved ones or a sense of purpose seemed more resilient. These connections, he found, were essential to survival, as they gave prisoners something to live for beyond the horrors they faced daily. In the camps, prisoners lived in relentless hardship, suffering from constant hunger, extreme physical exhaustion, and the threat of violence. Meager rations often consisted of just a piece of bread and thin soup, leading many prisoners to fixate on food, often dreaming of the meals they once enjoyed. Physical labor was grueling and relentless, carried out in minimal clothing and in all weather conditions. Despite these hardships, author observed small moments of kindness, humor, and human connection, which provided a faint glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak environment. One of the key insights author shares is the importance of choice. He observed that prisoners who managed to hold onto a sense of meaning or purpose seemed to endure suffering with greater resilience. For author, this idea of finding meaning in hardship became essential. He began to imagine himself lecturing on his experiences, using his suffering to help others understand the psychology of life in the camps. This mental exercise gave him a focus beyond his immediate pain and reminded him that he could find meaning in his suffering. Author describes the concept of an inner life, a kind of refuge where prisoners could find moments of spiritual and emotional beauty. He shares how, during a morning march, he looked at the sunrise and found comfort in the beauty of nature. These brief moments reminded him of a reality beyond the camp. Many prisoners clung to memories of loved ones, spouses, children, or friends, which provided a sense of hope and purpose that helped them endure. He also noted that different prisoners responded to suffering in different ways. Some gave in to despair and gave up, while others held on to hope, however slim. Author came to believe that finding meaning in suffering was essential for survival. He recalls a fellow prisoner who held on to the hope of seeing his family again, which kept him going despite the odds. For author, this realization, that even in suffering, people could find purpose, became the foundation of his future work in logotherapy, a therapy based on the will to meaning rather than a drive for pleasure or power. Author introduces the idea of ultimate freedom, a concept that became a lifeline for him. Even though the Nazis took away the prisoners' homes, families, and dignity, they couldn't take away their ability to choose how to respond to their circumstances. He calls this the last of human freedoms, the freedom to choose one's attitude in any situation. This belief helped him maintain a sense of inner control and offered him hope amid the chaos. Throughout Part 1, author illustrates his points with examples from camp life. He describes moments when prisoners would gather to speak of loved ones, share memories, or offer encouragement to one another. Even in these desperate conditions, they found moments of strength through community. Author also describes one man who shared his last piece of bread with someone else, an act of kindness that underscored the human capacity for compassion, even in the face of death. In the closing part of Part 1, author reflects on what happens when people lose all hope. He describes how some prisoners would give up, refusing to get up or to eat. Author saw that losing a sense of purpose often led to death. This reinforced his belief that hope and meaning were essential to survival. He found that, even in his darkest moments, he could still seek purpose, allowing him to maintain a sense of dignity despite the hardship. Part 1 of Man's Search for Meaning concludes with a powerful message about the human spirit. Author acknowledges that the suffering he describes is unimaginable, but he believes that even in such conditions, there is a fundamental truth. Humans have an incredible capacity for resilience and can find meaning in even the most difficult experiences. His insights reveal that while we may not have control over our circumstances, we do have control over our response. This ability to choose our response is where true strength lies and became the cornerstone of author's approach to logotherapy, which he introduces in the next part of the book. In summary, Part 1 is not only a survival story, but a profound exploration of how meaning and inner freedom can sustain us even in the face of unimaginable suffering. Author shows that, even when stripped of everything, the human spirit can still find purpose and dignity. Through his experiences, he demonstrates that while we may not control what happens to us, we always have the freedom to decide how we will respond, making his story a testament to resilience, hope, and the search for meaning in life's most difficult moments. Part 2 of Man's Search for Meaning, titled Logotherapy in a Nutshell, introduces author's psychological theory called logotherapy, a method focused on helping people find purpose, even in suffering. Unlike other forms of psychotherapy that dig into the past or unresolved conflicts, logotherapy is future-oriented, encouraging individuals to discover their unique life's meaning. Author believes that our drive for meaning, more so than for pleasure or power, is central to mental well-being. When people lack purpose, they often experience what he calls an existential vacuum, a sense of emptiness that can lead to issues like depression, boredom, or even aggression. Logotherapy's goal is to help people fill this inner void with a meaningful life. Central to logotherapy is the belief that meaning is highly individual. There isn't one universal answer to the question of life's purpose. Instead, each person must find their own. Author highlights 3 primary paths to finding meaning: through work or accomplishments, through love and relationships, and by adopting a purposeful attitude towards suffering. Of these, finding meaning in suffering is especially important in author's philosophy, as it helps people face life's most challenging moments. For many, purpose can be found in their work or achievements. This doesn't mean just a career, but any task that gives direction and contributes to the world. It could be an artist creating a painting or a parent raising children. However, author stresses that work alone doesn't provide meaning. It's the passion and dedication we bring to it. When people contribute positively, they often feel more fulfilled. Author's second path to meaning is through love and relationships. He believes deep connections with others are some of life's greatest sources of purpose. Love allows people to experience a richer view of the world and a deeper understanding of themselves and others. Author shares how his love for his wife kept him going even in the concentration camp. Although he didn't know if she was still alive, his thoughts of her gave him strength. Author emphasizes that love transcends physical presence. It is a spiritual connection that can give people a sense of purpose and hope. The third path to meaning, and perhaps the most challenging, is through suffering. Author asserts that suffering is an unavoidable part of life and that we can find purpose even in our pain. Logotherapy doesn't encourage people to seek suffering, but it does help them turn it into a meaningful experience when it's unavoidable. Author explains that by facing hardship with dignity and resilience, individuals can transform their suffering into a personal achievement. This approach is especially helpful for those who face loss, illness, or other hardships. By choosing to respond with purpose, people can rise above their struggles, making even the darkest times meaningful. Author introduces the concept of tragic optimism, which is the idea that people can remain hopeful and find meaning even in the face of tragedy. This outlook acknowledges life's unavoidable suffering and emphasizes our power to choose our response to it. Author believes that by facing suffering positively, people can make their lives richer and more meaningful. He points out that suffering, guilt, and death are all natural parts of life, and by accepting them, we can create purpose from our response to them. Logotherapy differs from other therapies by focusing on the future and on finding meaning rather than revisiting past trauma. For example, author uses a technique called paradoxical intention, where patients are encouraged to face their fears directly, often with humor. This can help reduce the power of their anxieties, allowing them to live with a lighter, more flexible mindset. Another technique is dereflection, which shifts a person's focus away from their own problems and encourages them to look outward, perhaps by helping others or engaging in fulfilling work. This outward focus can reduce self-centered thoughts and help people find purpose in the world around them. Author also highlights that finding meaning is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Every person's journey is unique, and logotherapy respects that different paths suit different people. Meaning can be found in simple acts not just in big achievements. For instance, even small gestures like kindness to a stranger, caring for a pet, or pursuing a creative hobby can bring purpose to daily life. These small, meaningful acts can gradually fill the existential vacuum that many people feel. Author acknowledges criticisms of logotherapy, such as the belief that meaning is too subjective to measure scientifically. However, he argues that the benefits of a purposeful life are visible through improved mental well-being. Logotherapy doesn't impose meaning on people, but instead helps them uncover the purpose that already exists within them. By focusing on the individual's unique purpose, logotherapy offers a personalized approach to healing and fulfillment. Author closes part 2 by emphasizing that everyone has the freedom to choose their attitude toward their circumstances, even in extreme hardship. During his time in the concentration camps, author saw people who maintained their humanity and dignity despite intense suffering, showing him that true freedom lies in choosing our response. No matter what life takes from us, we can always control our reaction. In conclusion, Part 2 of Man's Search for Meaning gives a powerful introduction to logotherapy and its potential to help people lead more fulfilling lives. By focusing on meaning through work, love, and suffering, author's approach encourages resilience and personal growth. Logotherapy teaches that ideal circumstances aren't necessary for a meaningful life. Purpose can be found in small acts, relationships, and in how we face struggles. Ultimately, author's philosophy reminds us that life always holds potential for purpose, even in the toughest times, offering comfort and strength to anyone facing life's inevitable challenges. In the 1984 postscript titled "The Case for a Tragic Optimism," author expands on the themes of man's search for meaning by introducing the concept of tragic optimism. This is the idea that people can remain hopeful and find meaning even when confronted with life's inevitable suffering, loss, and pain. While author acknowledges the harsh realities of existence, he believes that individuals can still choose to approach these difficulties with a positive attitude and the determination to discover meaning despite them. Author describes tragic optimism as being built on 3 essential principles: the capacity to transform suffering into achievement, the ability to find purpose even in unavoidable pain, and the resilience to find hope even in despair. He argues that while we cannot control the hardships that come our way, we have the freedom to choose how we respond. For instance, someone who has experienced a profound loss might find purpose by honoring their loved one's memory, while a person facing illness might find meaning by connecting with others in similar circumstances. This freedom to choose one's response, author explains, is the foundation for finding purpose even when circumstances feel beyond our control. In this section, author also critiques modern society's focus on pleasure and success as ultimate goals. He argues that this mindset can leave people feeling empty and unfulfilled. In contrast, logotherapy emphasizes the search for a meaningful life, one that goes beyond material success or personal happiness. Author explains that a meaningful life is often enriched by acts of kindness, connection, creativity, and resilience, rather than merely the pursuit of pleasure. Author reaffirms the importance of logotherapy as a tool for addressing what he calls the existential vacuum, a sense of purposelessness that many people experience. Logotherapy offers a way for people to cope with life's challenges by focusing on what they can still achieve, the relationships they value, and the dignity they can maintain despite their struggles. For those feeling trapped or weighed down by hardship, author's approach encourages a focus on remaining potential, not past losses. Author concludes by emphasizing that life's meaning is unique to each person and must be individually discovered. He insists that no matter how difficult life may become, there is always potential for finding purpose. And this is what enables people to confront life with resilience and optimism. Tragic optimism, therefore, does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it is about accepting life's challenges while believing in the power to shape one's own response and uncover meaning. As man's search for meaning closes, author's reflections remind readers that life is worth living because it always holds the potential for meaning. His theory of logotherapy offers a pathway to finding purpose, teaching that while we may not control all events in life, we can control our response. And this response is where true power lies. In today's world, author's message is deeply relevant. By embracing tragic optimism, we do not deny life's hardships, but choose to live with hope, confident that meaning can be found in every situation. Author's journey shows that life is ultimately about how we respond to it. His work invites us to live intentionally and courageously, even in difficult times. The search for meaning, he suggests, is an ongoing process that brings depth to our existence. Man's search for meaning is not merely a book, but a guide, encouraging each of us to take responsibility for finding purpose, to face challenges with inner freedom, and to believe that, even in suffering, life holds endless possibilities for meaning. If you enjoy such content that supports your growth and self-improvement, please like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates and explore our other videos to dive deeper. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment to let us know how we're doing. Your feedback helps us improve, and those small gestures from you keep us motivated. Thanks a lot for watching.